Hi, Barry here. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Canon C70. This camera isn't that new. It's been around for about a year and a half, and it's really a little bit of a well-kept secret by Canon. It's very compact, as you can see. It has a Super 35 sensor, and it only weighs 1.4 kilos. It has a textured grip for easy operation. Unusually, it's the first of these camera ranges that has a native RF mount. So you can use RF lenses instead of EF lenses, but though we provide an RF-EF speed booster as standard. Also, like the C300 Mark III, has a brand new sensor with dual gain output. It's important to explain that. Dual gain isn't the same as dual ISO. What it actually does, apparently, is it reads the sensor twice at different gains, one prioritizing clean shadows and the other highlights, and then it processes the image, resulting in effectively a composite HDR of the best of both. Unlike the C300 or the C500, no EVF is standard, so rely on a monitor. And it doesn't have an SDI port either, but the HDMI works perfectly well. It's capable of all resolutions, both interframe and long GOP settings, and the same HEVC option for the same quality, slightly smaller file size as an MP4 file. The Canon C70 takes regular SD cards, and they're good for all codecs except if you want to shoot 120 frames per second. For that, you'll need a V90, otherwise regular V60s will work. And most importantly, it has mini XLR inputs, which is a bit of a shame, but you have to pay a little bit of a compromise if you have such a small camera body. The C70 appears to have a little bit more versatility with autofocus in the fast and slow modes, which can also be touch controlled. Noise in low light is really good, which Canon are specifically good for. And apparently in low light, it compares even with the Sony A7S Mark III, where even 12,800 ISO is usable. The rolling shutter outperforms most mirrorless cameras, and there's a built-in EFS mode to stop vignetting, whereas on the C300 Mark III, there's a very slight crop. Apparently you can also achieve 3 hours of battery life on a single A30 compact battery, which is half the size of the standard C300 battery. And just like the FX6, the charger can also be used as a mains power as well and plugged straight into the camera. Other great features include 6 stops of ND and 10 stops of stacked ND, shutter angle, anamorphic support, which you certainly wouldn't expect in a camera of this size, waveforms, vectors, false color. Do you know what? We think it's really good. Because of its size, you can mount it on a one-handed gimbal like the Ronin RS3, which we think is a really good use for this camera. To conclude, this is a powerful camera with a great build, ergonomics, and a straightforward workflow. We see a lot of people using this as a second camera for their C300 Mark III or the C500 Mark II. Hire it now from VMI.